we're putting Champ and Honey out there to bring them both together.
You know, when I hear this, I feel like as a grandparent, you're giving a promise that shows up in the delivery. Mic drop.
My
just because
got
there's
a block in it. Hold on.
dead air and mic drop are not the same thing.
Dead air and mic drop. That's exactly. No, he dropped the mic, but I got dead air response on it.
Way to rebrand that moment, Jeff.
Your grandchild will be wrapped in a delivery.
Spin it. You loved it.
Yeah, it was good.
Beatitudes. Oh, yes, Beatitudes. You are tuned in to the greatest place where we, on purpose, are decreasing so that God may increase. Going back to our opening prayer that we did in the silence before the show. If you were part of Beatitudes ++-, you would have already known about that prayer, but you didn't join in. But if you're watching on YouTube, you're going to see 4 Easter egg men showing up here.
We got the pastel palette on lock.
That's right. And I'm full of caramel.
Did you just chug sugar before the show?
I ate a bunch of Cadbury.
Oh, okay.
Join my mouth and guys, we're going there. God willing, we're all going to end up in heaven.
Oh, yeah. I was going to say, we don't know where. We don't know where, but we're going there.
Between here and there, it's going to be a lot of bumpy roads. And this is one of those. My name is Jeff Schiefelbein. I'm one of the Beatitudes, and we are truly on a walk trying to figure it all out, but doing it together in community. And speaking of community, I am joined to my left by Paul Kolker.
Howdy.
Howdy, sir. How we doing?
I'm good. You can't howdy without smiling.
That's what we know. We know to be true. We're Aggies. And then Nick Bezner.
Thanks and giggum.
Howdy.
Did you just say Audi?
Like it was a silent
sports
H.
car?
It's really a fancy way.
Like French, like Audi.
Oh, I said Audi like your belly button. I looked down. I could see it.
I need to tuck in my shirt.
At least tuck in the Audi. It's disgusting.
More coffee.
I hope you're still with us after this wild opening.
Oh, my goodness. Okay, we are about to have an incredible conversation with... I feel like it's like a new friend that we've known forever, and that's what it's like to be a Texas Aggie, is you have roots that go beyond your own understanding. In fact, it's very similar to being part of the greater church, right? All parts of one body.
Yeah.
Many parts.
That's good.
Great at
many parts, one Aggie.
That's awesome.
I am the thumb.
You are the brachioles. I was just trying to find a branch. Brachioles majoris.
Is that the lung things?
That would be the...
bronchitis.
Oh, yeah, it might be related. I don't know.
Whatever.
Yeah,
so
we're not medical students.
You can obviously tell that we're not branding experts, but you showed up here, so something's working. We are joined today by our friend in the faith, in the fight for life, and also just for being a great fighting Texas Aggie, Brandon Coleman Jr.
Thank you, guys.
Oh, my goodness.
Blessed to be here for sure.
Welcome to the show.
Welcome.
To all of you.
Yes. Yeah. Do you know what nobody does after they graduate is any of the wildcatting that isn't whoop. Nobody says, hey, like you would never do that. Hey, like
you're not a freshman anymore, Jeff.
I know, but I want to kind of do that callback. Like somebody says something in a big group and you start going, hey.
Like annoying sophomore.
Those were some good times, though.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah, you leaned into it because it's all you had at the time.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
You know, if being obnoxious was all I had at that time, I've turned it into a lifestyle.
You, indeed, sir. You have patented it.
But you showed up. Hey, Brandon, how did we get to know you? How did this happen, bud?
I wish I knew.
Yeah. You have an agent, don't you?
I think it was Claire Blanchard, wonderful young lady.
Yeah.
Does some social media work and some agent stuff for me. And she said, hey, you got to meet these guys. And they're Aggies.
You're like, what else do I need?
Bonus.
I went and watched a couple of your shows. I'm like, I'm all in, man. These guys are grooving.
They're funny. They believe in Jesus. They're...
Everything up front.
Yeah. And
what else you need?
Everything else is kind of just a pointless detail.
That's exactly right. A, I'm a Christian. B, I'm an Aggie. C, what else do you need to know?
Come on.
Color in the lines. I mean, whatever.
That's it.
Man, I actually want to start off this by saying you brought us a present, but you gave it to us before we got here, but I kind of hid it from the camera. So
Cool.
let's go ahead and we'll bring the present out real quick because I think this is a good
What'd you
kinda
do with
kickoff.
it? Oh, you got it.
He's got it. He's got it.
You got it.
Well, no,
I'm sitting on it.
And
okay.
I'm glad you brought us a present because Jeff usually asks our guests,
For what?
did you bring us anything?
I brought you each a present.
If you do your homework, you know I'm going to ask for presents.
There you go.
All right, well, tell us what we're looking at, Brandon.
So we are looking at the new book, Brand On, which I was just blessed yesterday to receive a silver award from Nonfiction Writers Association, and it is an Amazon bestseller. So not bad for a couple of months on the market for an A.
Not bad.
We'll take it, and we're very, very blessed.
First book?
It is. People encouraged me to write it. I sold my firm in 2000. I
Okay.
was 44 years old or so, and been encouraged ever since to write it. And it's about brand, and not the boring part of brand. Everything in branding has changed in the last 50 years, literally everything except for one. And that's brand alignment and what that means and how it impacts a business, how it impacts a life. And brand alignment's timeless. It's literally timeless. And most people don't know what it is, don't know what it means. Great successful people don't know what it means. Some of them do it inherently. Most of them don't.
You might recognize it, but you don't.
It's what makes a lot of small businesses fail. And small tweaks sometime can make all the difference in the world. And sometimes it's a major overhaul. But it's all about the alignment. It's all about the alignment.
Well, I clearly know what brand alignment is, but for everybody else,
You want me to get?
yeah, would you explain it for our audience out there?
Would you mind if I go 2 steps back?
Yeah, absolutely. Go
going
all the
two-step.
I
steps.
did this at a
We're going two-stepping at
my fellow keynoter over here. I did this at a keynote the other day, and they seemed to like the story. When we were preaching brand, try not to fall asleep here, in the early 80s,
Okay.
nobody knew what the word meant. It wasn't in textbooks. It wasn't taught. And we had an ad agency, but we also had a lot of strategic business consulting guys and ladies. And so we went at clients' problems different than the journalism graduates who just said, throw creative at it. A new creative ad will always work. We came in saying, we want to see we want to talk business strategy first. We want to talk brand alignment. Then we'll let our creatives go crazy and create some fun television spots, radio spots, billboards, whatever. And so we got really tired of trying to explain to people what a brand was.
Yeah.
Because nobody knew it. Nobody knew what the word meant. They didn't. And so we created a definition of brand. A brand is a promise wrapped in a delivery.
Oh, that makes
Period.
perfect sense.
And that catapulted our lives and our career. Brand alignment is when perception meets reality on all of your customer journey, on your entire customer journey, when perception meets reality. So brand alignment means you're fulfilling all of your customers' expectations.
So that promise is showing up
So that-
everywhere.
absolutely.
State of brand integrity.
Brand on is when you exceed that. Brand on is when you create a wow factor. When you create that surprise that that customer, that client was not expecting. Might have been a gift somebody brought. Might have been something you said. Might be a way you present at the checkout stand. Maybe something you do online. But it is creating that wow factor and surprising people over and over and over. And it just creates a lasting value that catapults the financial worth of organizations and brands. So a brand is a promise wrapped in a delivery. And brand alignment is just making sure you deliver that day in and day out and don't miss a beat.
You think people miss that because they think that that's not part of their value creation for the financial value? They think it's just like a feel-good
Absolutely.
monkey thing.
You walk into business and it goes, we appreciate our customers. Like, meh. Or on your invoice you get, thank you for your business.
Yeah.
Those are expected. Those are
minimums.
now those are old and corny.
Yeah.
That's what those are.
Paul is retooling his invoice system right now in his head.
Scrubbing the bottom of my invoices.
Yeah. And what is really hard for owners, and the primary reason I wrote that book, I can promise you it's not to make money because it is a total. I don't care how many of them you sell, you don't make money in books. I wrote it to help the small businesses, the people who couldn't afford us when we were running and gunning, and I had 20 plus employees and overhead, and you guys know the story.
Sure.
I wanted to help those small businesses because charitably or gratuitously along the way. We were able to do that a few times, and we always helped them immensely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they couldn't have afforded the counsel, but they would have failed without it. And then you watch the failures, the small businesses that are doing everything they know to do right, but they don't understand brand. A brand is not a dadgum logo. That is not your brand. Your logo on a ball cap is not a brand. Okay, your name in and of itself is not the brand. Yeah, it's all of that brought
It's
together.
the promise, right?
And you may be
it's
a
that
great
follow through.
You may be a great veterinarian, a physician. We did a lot in healthcare. We did a lot in insurance. We did a lot in finance. We did a lot in retail products and sports teams. And you may be very good at your craft.
Yeah.
But if you don't know what brand alignment is, you may be making millions. You may be hitting at 80%, 70%, 60%. But what if you could hit at 100?
Yeah.
Most of our clients were not failures. Yeah. Most of our clients came to us saying, we're doing well. We just know something's missing.
Yeah, it's like good to great.
Exactly. Thank you.
You know, I saw that you had done a lot with small businesses. This guy on here is the president of Southwest Airlines Company.
Yeah, they're small.
Yeah.
We did not do that account, by the way. Yeah. I said, well, we can put him on that. Well, he knows a lot of people.
No, actually,
more importantly,
in their heyday, that is brand alignment.
well, and more importantly, he's a great Aggie.
Absolutely. We'll take him. We'll take him.
And they do a great job. They are a great brand alignment. They've gone through their struggles.
Sure.
And he knows that, and he practices it. And so there's big people have to support the aura of your book to get the little people to say,
That's right.
Oh, it must mean something.
Well, to take that example, because you just said they're going through some hard times, it's not like you get there and you're on that plateau and you get to wait for everybody else to catch up. It's not like it's a finishing line. It's
There is no finish line to brand alignment. There is no finish line.
Well, I've always heard the slogan. It's like failure is never fatal, success is never final.
That's correct.
So it's like you never arrive.
Well, and the other challenge, and you've seen it as owners of your business here, all the multiple businesses you guys have, is seeing what that reality is. Remember, I told you brand alignment is where perception meets reality throughout the entire customer journey. Mm-hmm. You may not, as the owner, be able to see that reality because you're too close to the trees to see the forest.
You can't see the forest for the trees. Yeah.
And that's a chapter in the book, actually.
Okay.
So there are 7 potholes that derail brands, and how owners think about brand alignment and how it makes a difference. It's the little things, man. It is the little things. But go ahead.
Oh, I just am realizing Santa's Wonderland. Did you work with them? We all know this one. We've waited in that line.
We blew them up.
I would say so.
Yeah.
We took them from a $100,000 a year business that knew they had something but couldn't figure it out, literally to a they're doing 35 mil plus right now.
Yeah, more than a half a million visitors.
Ho, ho. Yeah,
and breaking in the dough.
And listen,
Call back to a different episode where Jeff pretended to be Santa and started off with ha ha ha.
Well, and as we pass out your sleigh full of goodies, Jeff, we want to make sure that I'm not taking credit for that. We did the brand.
It's amazing.
We resurrected and created it. And changed the whole thing, but the Medlin family, Scott Medlin and his family have just worked tirelessly. He's a creative individual in his own right, and their family, great Christian people. They have done a phenomenal job. They honor God in all they do. The last thing as you ride that hayride through the lights is Jesus. I mean, there it is. They got Christmas and they got Easter right there.
Gosh, this makes me want to take all my kids. I haven't been back in forever.
Yeah,
I went when it was a couple $1 million.
And thanks to me,
the kids a couple years ago.
Oh, did you?
Awesome.
Thanks to me, it was when they first started out, they were $10 a carload, all you could throw in, and you drove through lights and you left.
Yeah.
And they had a town in there.
Yeah.
A little western. Well, there were some old dilapidated buildings, and he went 2 or 3 years before he knew us. He went 2 or 3 years and said, "Well, what am I going to do with these old buildings?" So somebody in his family said, "Let's make it a cowboy deal." So they they lit a bonfire in there, and a small one, and they had gunfights. And so you would drive through the Christmas lights, and then you park your car and you walk in at no charge and see people kill each other.
Yeah.
And when I took my kids through there and went through, and I'm like, wow, that guy could really use our help. And I didn't contact him, but I ran into him at a Freebirds 4 years later. Wow. And he goes, "Aren't you Brandon Coleman?" I said, "I am." He goes, "I need your help."
Yes, you do.
And so
Amazing.
long story short, I said, first we got to kill the cowboys. That's not Christmas.
Yeah.
And so we turned, the whole point. He had Christmas. He knew where he was going in the future. What he didn't have was that one thing. And you'll read about the one thing in the book. And that one thing is, what is that one thing you can really hang your hat on that makes your brand unique, makes it special, creates that promise? And his one thing was the word he was missing is we're all sitting around a board table talking, and he's got a cowboy hat on. And I said, you know what's amazing is we're in here with you, and you're listening to our counsel, and the answer to where you need to go in the future is on your head.
Yeah.
He goes, what are you talking about? I said, your cowboy hat. You're selling Christmas. You need to sell a Texas Christmas experience. And it changed everything. It's that simple.
I am in. I love everything about this.
Yeah, this is so cool.
It's fun. It's a fun business that I've been in for 50 years. Challenging. You have to be willing. The best of the best of the best in the brand world are willing to speak some really hard truth.
Sure.
Trust me,
I believe.
Trust me, I've got enemies out there because they didn't want to hear it. What Jack Nicholson say? You can't handle the truth.
Yeah.
So
This is my baby. You're telling me I'm doing something wrong.
well,
right?
you're so perfect because in the day, I tell them, sometimes you got to say, sir, your baby's ugly and you need to change his name. And then you duck.
We already
hard thing
we
to
got rid of the guns in the gunfight, so you can just punch me.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, and I'm sure there is kind of an ego thing that gets wrapped in because if you do build a business to multiple six figures, that probably feels pretty good. And you think like,
well, I've done something right.
yeah, I've obviously done something right. But then you're saying, oh, well, no, but you don't recognize the full potential of this thing. And so
What could it be?
you do need the help to bring it.
And
to
Scott and them knew, he knew in his
Sure,
heart
sure.
God had something bigger for him planned.
Yeah, and I'm not just trying to
Yeah.
dog on him, but
No,
I'm just
he got on
saying
it.
in general,
Yeah.
I'm sure
Absolutely.
there's a certain ego that can come in when you're like, well, I built this thing to where it is now. So who are you to
Come in from the outside.
come in and tell me this?
Well, and trust me, I've thought that a lot.
yeah,
And try to sit in the board. We won't discuss this one in depth, but try to sit in front of 22 board members of the Association of Former Students who are all successful business people,
Yeah.
amazing people, 20-some years ago, and tell them they need to change the way they're doing things.
How'd that turn out?
Wonderfully. The Aggie Network.
Go on.
Yeah, keep talking.
No. It's in the book. You have to buy
Here's
the
a
book,
teaser.
BrandonColemanJr.com.
Brand.
Available on Amazon. Yeah. Great story, great people. We were so blessed to get that opportunity.
Yeah.
And, Porter Garner and his team have done an amazing job of keeping the brand in alignment. And that's the critical thing.
Yep.
I can go into any business and work magic. Guaranteed. Don't care what business it is. I can go in there and work magic. It has to be carried on. Somebody has to stay true to that brand strategy. And Porter and his team have done a phenomenal job for now 25 years. 25 years ago this month.
Yeah.
And they have done a phenomenal job of keeping true to the brand. The logo we created, which is a rendition of the Aggie ring. Long story. Can't show the Aggie ring. It's got to be a rendition. Took months. But they've done a phenomenal job of keeping it brand true. Look at you guys and your brand.
Keep going.
I'm trying to think. Beatitudes. First, it took me a while to get to say it, right? Beatitudes. I'm going, okay, I know the Beatitudes. I remember the first one. Blessed are those who are of the Aggie spirit.
For they shall lead the way.
For they shall inherit the earth.
We've accidentally rebranded a very important word because now we have people, priests, all sorts of speakers that are like, I'm so mad at you. I said Beatitudes in a real talk or in a homily. And I'm like, well, it's working, I guess, if it's working. Yeah.
I actually think it's a brilliant brand. I knew what you were about immediately.
Yeah.
These people love the Lord. It's great. They're also cocky and funny. So let me go see what this is about. So your name is brilliant. It really is, truly is brilliant.
That's fun.
I say that very few times. My friends will vouch for that. My wife will double vouch for that.
Can I tell you in the process, because this is kind of fun to share, and true story, we all three said, okay, Beatitudes is it. And we get on just a phone call brainstorm because we're like, then how do you drive it home? Like, what is the punchline? And we went through this incredible iterative process.
It's the best brainstorm I've ever been a part of.
Cool.
Far
Aren't they
to both
fun? They're
sides.
fun.
Yeah. And at the very end, somehow all the words came out to say religiously funny. That religiously funny is two words that finishes out what Beatitudes is.
That's the way it works. And it is a fabulous tagline. I love what you did with the animation and colors. I know the audience is going to think these guys paid you to say this. If you'll say good stuff, we'll have you on our show.
Somebody's
We'll
gonna
also
make
promote
money
your book.
somewhere.
That did
Yeah.
not happen.
Yeah.
My wife will tell
I
you.
appreciate this.
I'm constantly in a brainstorm, so I'm always thinking. Every now and then, the lightning, which is on the cover of my book, hits. That lightning hits you guys good because that is it. You have a solid up brand. It's a great look, great feel, and just don't screw it up.
Don't screw it up. Hey, we were told by people in the biz that we were doing it wrong because we didn't look like everybody else, and I was like, high five, high five.
Excuse me. Excuse me.
It was awesome. I was like, good, because our show ain't like anybody
I don't want to be
else's.
held to
Yeah.
that metric.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, and it was fun because we've done some live conference events and we'll see people walking up and they'll see our name and our logo and all of that. And we'll see the light dawn on them as they're like,
Oh, you're those guys.
Hey, so here's another funny thing. I think the name Beatitudes is also so specific that it actually calls out people who don't have any faith under, any knowledge of the Bible, or maybe never have listened to any stories from the New Testament, because they'll say, I saw that you're doing BeatItDudes. And I'm like, I know you don't read the Bible. Now what do you want to talk about?
What's great is you hope they all turn to Matthew and read them.
Exactly. And I'll tell people, I'm like, okay, there's this sermon on the either mount or mound. Nobody knows.
Mount. He was on some hill.
Let's just say it wasn't flat.
although in Luke's gospel, there is a sermon on the plane as well.
I know.
An elevated surface of some kind.
I like how you're hitting the camera.
It wasn't the one that's on.
preach.
Yeah.
Yeah. You had this sermon, and they're like, what's a sermon? Okay, Jesus loves you.
Jesus giving a presentation.
That's right.
Jesus had a PowerPoint about
One of the biggest keynotes
I love
of
you.
history.
And as you will
That's
see,
a good one. I love that.
if we'll go to slide number 4, you'll see the peacemakers.
Now, hold on tight, because I know what you think is coming next. It's the meek.
Yeah. Did he say, blessed all the cheesemakers? Monty Python reference.
I love
Nice.
it. Brandon, gosh, this is the perfect time to play something with you.
This game is called Blessed Are the Joke Makers.
All right.
For they shall inherit the points.
I'm already down by 3, I can tell.
This one's going to be 130 points.
Wait, Catholic card game? Boy,
Yeah.
you got me now. This old Protestant's in trouble.
It's actually a combination of
We mix it up
games.
because we don't like the way other people do stuff.
We do our own thing.
I like it.
Okay, so what we do is we have a character card here and a Catholic card game card, and we've just mashed them together. So we have to answer the prompt on the Catholic card game card as this character, and we're all going to do our own rendition of it. You just get to decide which one you enjoyed the most, and they get all of the points, according to you.
And did you handpick my character, or did you really just draw it out?
I just drew it out. I
You
just drew it
can be
out.
judge if you want, or you can participate. You don't have to.
The three of us are going to be the same character, just like one after another. And
Rapid
then at
fire.
the end, you're going to be like, it's like the Olympics. One of us gets gold. The other two just have to go back on an airplane.
So are one of you going to lead so I know what we're talking about?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
you'll see.
So
You'll
here we
see.
go. So the
All right, here we
character we all have to become. Oh, we've gotten this one stuck in the decade of your choice. We got that a lot. I don't know why.
Because I'm good at it. I stick it at
Oh,
the
darn, I
top.
was about to strike a disco pose.
Okay, here we go. As a chronic complainer
Got it.
/ Debbie Downer, seminarians talk about blank after class.
Oh, goodness. We went back to another marketing class in seminary. And it just seems like they keep bringing in all these outside speakers, and nobody's ever going to amount to be like this guy. I mean, for crying out loud, his parents named him Brandon. And so he can sit there and say, would you rather be Brand off or Brandon? What, is that my name? And so then I was sitting there thinking about all my favorite seminarians. And I was like, does this even work for any of us? Do I want to be Nick Alyss or Nick Amore? Of course, he's Nick Alyss, which that sounds terrible. Do I want to be Jeffrey or Jeff Incarcerated? That sounds terrible. And do I want to be Paul or P. All? We're never going to be like Brandon.
Way to stick to a premise and
Boy.
just drill it
Man.
into the earth.
Okay, let's just give him the trophy and walk away.
I mean, you can do that, but we have 2 more.
Wow.
That was good. That was really
good.
good. That was really good.
He didn't have that card before this show.
No,
Deep.
no, we're just improvising.
On the
Talk about some
spot.
serious creativity.
On the spot.
Amazing.
That's what I'm
On the
known
spot.
for. It's me. I'm known for a guy who gets a lot of points.
Chris in the comments might beg to differ.
One of you's going to go now.
I want to see the prompt one more time. Seminaries talk about
Whatever Jeff said. Is that what you're going to ditto?
guys, like, I get it. Look, it's just like Jesus. At the end of the day, we have this like amazing human God combo, but like, are we really fulfilling the promise, like the brand promise of what we're doing as seminarians? How are we showing up in our parishes every day? Like, we're not there yet, but we're just like, I can't wait to be there. And like, I just feel this like continual pressure to get there. And when we get there, are we really going to be fulfilling every step of the way from baptism all the way to last rites? Like, I just don't know if we can live it all the time.
Debbie Downer.
That
was Nico Moore, not Nicholas.
Thank you.
Oh, I don't know. I just, I feel like I found my call through discernment by a really beautiful encounter with a Texas Santa Claus. And I just knew that I wanted to live for the Lord. But I mean, can I really live up to that all the time? Like, those guys, they went from ho, ho, ho to do, do, do. And, blessed are the meek, for they shall inherit the worth. But I just don't know if I'm worth it. Oh.
Hey, I think when you're visiting that Santa, you could probably really improve your role in life by shooting cowboys.
That's it.
All right,
Brandon
Brandon Coleman Jr., who gets the 130 points. Wow.
Oh, I thought I was going to do a character. Okay.
Oh, you ready?
No.
Go.
No, mine was very short.
If you just go, you're probably going to get 130 points.
Okay, I'm going for it. Y'all ready?
Yes.
You ready?
Ready.
Yeah.
I'm Debbie Downer, right?
Yeah.
I just sat through this class, and I'm a Protestant. I don't know what the hell a seminarian is. But I love you, and I love the Lord, so let's go.
I love it.
Yeah, Brandon.
Give me some points, baby.
Christopher in the comments, go ahead and give Brandon 130 points, but don't ever forget the clinic I just put on.
That was great, Jeff.
That was great.
Hey, for being a Protestant on our show, you're going to get...
Oh, dude's on a sock?
Yeah, you're going to get socks. These are saint socks, but this is Saint Joseph and baby Jesus, and Protestants like those two guys a lot. Y'all are into those guys.
There are no others.
No, and then just so you know, because this is for you Bible readers, the bottom of these socks have a quote from Saint Joseph. He didn't say anything in the Bible.
It's blank.
Open Joseph, close quote.
Yeah, it's just open toe, closed toe.
Love it. Those are beautiful, man.
These are for you, and then if you think those are beautiful, wait till you see what I pull out next.
Check it out. These are going in that suit.
This one has our three faces on it.
That's what I thought this was when you pulled it out from a distance.
Well, all saints start to look the same when they're on socks.
Those aren't even stretched out. They already look pretty wide.
Hey, my eyebrows are like 3 pixels large. That's pretty.
Man, that's amazing.
This is both a beard and an eyebrow progression.
What cool guys. These guys are brand on.
Brand on. That's right, we are. And you can be brand on by not leaving during the commercial break. We'll see you right afterwards.
Hi, it's Paul Kolker from the BeatiDudes here, and I just wanted to share with you guys that I also, outside of the show, perform improv comedy on a regular basis with a group called Divine Comedy. So what we do is we come up with everything on the spot, so whether you're looking for faith-filled, fun, family-friendly comedy for your youth night, or whether you're looking for clean comedy for your corporate event, Divine Comedy can perform for your group and even get you in on the action. So if you'd like to hire us to come out and perform for your next event, check out DivineComedyImprov.com. Divine Comedy, an inferno of fun.
Nick, when it comes to investing, I just feel like money and morality don't always line up. What's the answer?
Often that's the case, but our friends at Aquinas Wealth Advisors have a really great solution. It's called the Faith and Finance Score. You go on their website and you put in your info. They tell you where you're invested and where it doesn't actually line up with where you want to be.
So you mean I don't just have to funnel money towards a retirement fund where I don't know what it's investing in?
That's right, you don't. And you don't even have to give up or sacrifice returns. You can get both.
So just get on the computer, bing, and I type in the website.
AquinasWealth.com. It takes longer to type than it does to get your faith and finance score.
Thanks, guys. Great job, Nick.
You betcha.
You know what I think is hard about starting a business? Healthcare, for crying out loud. It's expensive. It's intimidating. at the end of the day, you're probably paying for stuff you don't even agree with. Can I get an amen?
Amen.
I knew you could. So what we did is we started working with Solidarity Health Share. Totally different. These folks are aligned with us morally and ethically. And even the structure from a cost perspective works for us as we're launching businesses, as we're growing our families. And I don't know if you know this, but a couple times my kids went to the hospital in the last 2 years.
They sure have.
Yours?
But Solidarity has walked with us through all of it, including some crazy stuff for Benny Pro, my little boy. So all of this to say, I would encourage anybody out there thinking about their own business, their own needs, check out Solidarity Health Share for a better alternative to regular health care. So check out learnmore.solidarityhealthshare.org/Beatitudes.
Stop what you're doing and listen to the Beatitudes.
It's professional.
Welcome back, everybody. That is professional. We're here with Brandon Coleman Jr. And in the first segment there, we were talking a lot about brand and brand on and your new book and bestseller. I mean, that's amazing. But you obviously have a great and deep faith and faith life. And I'm just curious, like, where did that come from? How did that progress in your life and in your business journey?
Love that question and love the story. I was brought up in a family of faith. I'm blessed to have had a dad who was a Hall of Fame high school basketball coach in Houston.
Cool.
And was strong to the faith, my mom, and just the whole family. So, I'm going to be honest with you guys. I grew up with a drug problem. I got drugged to church every Sunday. Boom.
What a
I did not
storyteller.
see that coming.
So,
You had me.
you get out, you go to school.
I almost blurted out all my problems, but glad I didn't do that.
Jeff actually did have a drug.
No, I did not.
No.
Come on.
Graduated A&M, had a offer to work for a big-time corporation, GTE Telephone at the time, before they were acquired by AT&T.
Oh, yeah.
And I was a quote-unquote top marketing student, even though my grades sucked. I was a top marketing student in terms of being recruited. And these guys were going to pay me like lots of money, like $35,000 a year plus a company car, which in 1978 was a lot of money.
Oh, sure.
It was
Sure.
ballpark $200,000 now, 175 coming out of college.
Yeah.
And I'm like, dude, I'm in. And my professor said, no, I got one more interview I want you to do. And he sends me to Houston to an ad agency. Guy was the grandfather of advertising in the Southwest United States, Graham Boone. And he took me on a tour through his ad agency, and I'm go through the whole deal, and we're at the end, and he goes, he called everybody Bubba. Guy was at the time 67, which I thought was like really old. Super old. Yeah. And he goes, everybody here likes you. I'd like to offer you a job. I'm thinking, well, you can up what I got. We're in. Hometown. I don't have to move to San Angelo. This is cool. And he goes, yes, sir. So I'm gonna offer you a salary. And he said, I'm going to offer you $10,000 a year. And I'm going to give you $100 a month for your car. And I tried to be Christ-like and not laugh in his face or make any stupid comments. And I'm going, wow, sir, I really appreciate that. He said, so what do you think? I said, would you mind if I had one night to think about it? He said, I'd be honored for you to. Yeah. I said, I'll get back with you in the morning. I'd drive back to A&M. There were no cell phones. Drive back to A&M. I called my professor. I said, can we have a burger and a cold beer together? And we did. And he goes, what happened? I told him everything. He said, take it. I said, excuse me, I'm an Aggie, but I can do math. 35 minus 10 is 25,000 a year, plus. He goes, if you take it, in 5 years, you'll be running your own firm. If you go sit at GTE in a cubicle, only God knows what you're going to be doing, but it won't be you.
Yeah.
I trusted that professor so much that I took that job for 10. And 1 year later, I'm at a Christmas party with a really three sheets in the wind CEO of a oil tool company who said, when are you going to start your own firm? I said, sir, in about 5 years, I'm going to do that. He said, 5 years, my boop. He said, I want a pro forma statement in the next 2 weeks. So I was dating an accountant. Again, no cell phone. So I stopped on the Gulf Freeway at a payphone booth in Houston, Texas.
That's awesome.
You don't stop on the Gulf Freeway anymore in Houston, Texas. Called her and said, what's a pro forma? And these guys invested in me, and 20 years later sold out their group, and we're just a monstrous blessing. So we're running the firm. We're killing it. We're doing well. We're, call it 12, 13 years in, and we're doing great. I got 20 employees. We've got 35, 40 clients. We're really, really doing well. We're just blessed beyond belief. And just because we're getting a little full of ourselves too, because it's just, if we threw it at the wall, it stuck. We were just killing it. And then one day I have a client call, and he goes, I've got some bad news. He said, we've just been attached by the IRS, and we're going to have to stop all marketing advertising for about 6 months. Well, these guys were worth a lot of money to us every month, but that's one client, no big deal. I said, man, I'm sorry that happened to you, blah, 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 blah. And hung up the phone, and I called everybody in the team, said, here's the deal. Then we go about another 2 days. My largest client, this guy was my third largest, my largest client calls me in and goes, we need to have a meeting. I went, okay. I showed up. I said, what's up? He goes, well, the board of directors of our giant hospital system have changed, and you've been taking care of us for 13 years and doing an amazing job, but this new board, which is of a different religious sector, literally, wants to give one of their own the opportunity. They said, you've done a great job, but you've had it 13 years. They want to give one of their own the opportunity. And there was nothing I could do about it, and I lost the account. And really, I cried on the way home, and I got on my knees and said, Christ, what, man, in the last few days, I just lost like 50% of my business. I got 20 people. It's a month before Christmas. What are we going to do here? And he said, well, first off, just thank the people that just fired you individually, all 67 physicians. You thank them all for everything they've bestowed upon you for the last 13 years.
Yeah.
Or whatever.
And mean it.
Got back, wrote them all, and mean it.
Yep.
And mean it. And did that. And I called the firm that took over the business, said anything I could do to help you, blah, 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 blah.
Yep.
Then, you're not going to believe this, I get back, and within 2 more days, we lose another piece of business. None of these had anything to do with the quality of work, with something we screwed up, none of them. But we lost, I don't remember the exact number. I just did a podcast on my show about it about a month ago. And I want to say it was like 68, 69, 70% of our business gone. I always let my firm for those 13 years, I would let everybody go between Christmas and New Year's. I'd let them take the...
You didn't fire them, you just let them take a break?
I just let them take a break. I fired everybody at Christmas. That's that Texas Christmas experience.
Start over.
Santa's Wonderland.
There's
Bye-bye.
a great place for you to go visit with your free time.
Get the week off, be with your family.
Drive-through Christmas place.
It was part of their pay. It was part of their pay. It was like, you're not going to get anything done between the 23rd and January 3rd anyway.
It's Christmas shutdown.
You guys go. And so here I am with all that coming up and not knowing what to do. And I went home, again, on my knees, in tears, just praying. Just, Lord, we were gold. We were gold. What is this? What is this? He's like, I got you. Don't worry about it. I'm like, I can't let all these people go. Met with the accountants, met with the finance people. They're like, you got to fire 2/3 of the staff. You got to do this, or you're going to be deep in due for a long time. I couldn't do that before Christmas. I just couldn't do it. And I'll be dead gum if we don't get the opportunity of a timely lifetime. I get a call the week before we let it, Christmas holidays. I get a call. I called all my people into the meeting and said, here's where we are. I'm going to be honest with you. I also want you to know, no matter what, I've decided in prayer, I'm not letting a single one of you go. But what you have to do through the holidays, pray about and think about, is now, no matter what your expertise set is, all of you are in new business development.
That's right.
Every single, I want you talking to your aunts, your uncles, your dogs. I want you to talk to everybody. Yeah. And your friends, people you don't even know, ask them. Who needs great help with their marketing, their branding? Who needs, and all of you are now in new business, but I'm not letting you go, and I'm not canceling our holiday break. So we're going to roll hard, and we're rolling on the wings of the Lord. It was 3 days before we left, and the phone rang. They go, there's a prospective new client on the phone. The guy goes, I'm so-and-so, and we are developing the first Greyhound racetrack in Houston, in Lamarck, Texas, right outside of Houston. It's a multi-million-dollar deal, and we have $1 million to spend to build a brand and do some advertising, some marketing. Yeah. And we've heard you guys rock it. And I said, sir, we do. He said, well, can you be out here next week?
Like a greyhound.
quicker than a greyhound.
I'm out of here. Boom. And I went in, I told everybody's cheering, and golly, we're back on the road, man. We're going to get it done. We're going to start road. And I went home, I was all excited, told the wife, boy, I'm starting to get plans together. And we worked for 2 or 3 days putting together a proposal, starting to get ready. And God just like, I remember sitting in front of the fireplace and at night praying for the presentation before the holidays. And God said, hey, you're not listening to me right now. You're too wrapped up in what you're about to do. I don't want you to do that account. He said, everything about a Greyhound racetrack is about taking poor people and old people, scamming their money from them, and have them spend it in ways I don't want them spending it. So I don't want you using the talents I blessed you with to do it. Wow. And I'm like, hey, wait, God, would you repeat that? And he did. And I walked in the next morning, knew what I needed to do. I pulled everybody in. He said, you excited about the presentation? I said, no. I called the gentleman this morning and I've canceled it. I told him we can't handle their business. And they're like, you did what? And I said, well, here's why. We're not going to put our skill sets to work to hurt others. Yeah. But we'll be okay. So a day later, we shut down for the holidays. We leave. I go home and, oh, that was not a fun Christmas. But you're praying, you're excited. You go, God, what do you got? And we go back first week in January. We go to work hard. We're getting after, get a little piece of business here, a little piece of business there. Phone rings. It's Mr. Hall, that number one client. And he said, I need you back in my office. Go back in his office. And they had worked with the other firm for a ballpark 2.5 months. And he said, I've got some more news for you. I'm like, oh, great. How did it get any worse than getting fired?
We're going to sue you.
Jeez, that literally thought and I'm going, why?
I just wanted to kick you.
There's that not believing in the Lord deal.
Yeah,
Right?
right.
What's the plan here?
Yeah.
And I said, well, what's the news? He goes, the docs want you back and you write your own check.
Yeah.
Oh, I still cry today thinking about how I felt on the way back to our office. And business, and within 3 to 4 months, we replaced 167% of our business.
Yeah,
Wow.
I mean, that had nothing to do with me. That had nothing to do with anybody on our team.
Yeah.
That had nothing to do with being good. It just had something to do
It's
with
not
us and
us.
the Lord. And so we learned from that lesson so powerfully that it led us in every single decision the rest of the time we ran our firm, regardless of the situation. And we knew that we were running it for the Lord. The short version is Christ was always my CEO. And as long as I've had him in my every board meeting, every thought, and you just go, what do you think? He would tell me. If you just listen, if you're just quiet, if you're just still, he'll tell you. And so we followed him. That's the answer. When I spoke to 700 students a few weeks ago, and the biggest question you always get, what's the secret to success? What's the secret? I said, it's so easy.
Yeah.
If Jesus Christ is your CEO, you'll kill it. And they go,
Brandon.
he comes up and goes, Brandon. So,
Brandon.
But that was what we were about. And it made all the difference in the world. I'm giving a keynote speech after running the firm for 20 years. Had no plan of selling it.
Yeah.
Giving a keynote speech in San Francisco. National Association of Ad Agencies, a lot of big dogs there. 300 or 400 people. And a guy comes up after. There's a lot of people waiting in line. Guy comes up after, goes, I'd like to buy your firm. I went, yeah, right. How many cocktails did you have during the break?
Yeah.
He goes, no, I'm serious. I'm interested in buying your firm. And I said, you're serious? He goes, I am. And their email was barely trickulating at the time. And he goes, I'm going to send you an offer by fax on Tuesday. This is on a Friday evening. It's okay. Sure. So Tuesday he calls. And we had sent him some information. He says, I've got an offer for you. And I'm going to fax it, so stand by the fax machine. And so I go stand by the fax machine. Brrr, you're pulling the paper out. Come on, can't you do any faster?
Like Christmas in a business office is those old fax machines.
Dot-
What's it going to be?
Dot matrix stuff.
Exactly. You are fired. Again.
How did he do that? He already fired me. I hadn't even bought the place.
So it comes across. I'm looking at it going, oh, Christ Jesus, thank you, God. And I'm like, I called a counselor I was using on the acquisition. I said, hey, this is more than this coach's kid ever dreamed of having. And he goes, just say no. Oh, no. You don't understand. I'm going to say yes. He goes, no, you're not. You just say, thank you, guys, appreciate it. So I followed his advice, and I did that. The hardest words I've ever said.
Yeah.
Hardest words I've ever said. And he said, you're trusting me, but he said, trust in the Lord. It'll get better. And I did that, and They wanted more information, and a week later they came back with another offer. Said, "You standing by your fax machine?" I said, "I'm sitting on it." Here it comes. I got it. I called my counselor. I went, "I am not saying no this time. No way." He goes, "Take it."
Take it.
And it was just what a blessing. I mean, again, nothing I had to do with it.
Yeah.
He liked some of the unique approaches we were using, things we were doing with brand and how we were strategizing, and so it was a blessing, just a pure blessing all the way around. All the way around. So we got to spend time after that focusing on 3 kids who had amazing careers. I had my oldest son, who is a big-time guy here in Dallas. He's 42, 43 right now, and he's with a big investment private equity group. Cool. And he is temporarily a CEO of all the Cotton Patch Cafes. So if you want a great chicken fried steak.
Oh, yeah.
But he's a marketing genius and a financial brilliant guy, and he's here, and we're here chasing
That's awesome.
his kids.
You didn't bring us that. You brought us a book.
I didn't bring in chicken fried, no. And then my
Jeff, it's 8 a.m.
yeah. And my middle son drove NASCAR for Joe Gibbs Racing, so I lived on that circuit for 10 years, and that's a whole other podcast.
No joke.
And then my daughter won the National Equestrian Championship at A&M and on horses, and goes on to a life in Hollywood where she is a stunt actress for 14 years. What? She throws motorcycles in walls, spins cars out, jumps out of buildings, falls off galloping horses, and she's a beautiful blonde and does all that.
Yeah.
So you look
and a
forward to
great Christian girl. Yeah.
So you're looking forward to when your kids could like do something interesting or cool someday, you know?
Yeah, I told her,
Do something with yourselves.
That's amazing.
Could one of them just get a cubicle job? That would be.
So
The pay is better, right?
Psalm, help me here. Psalm 9, forgive me for not having the number off the top of my old head. There's a verse in Psalm that says, "Some men will believe in chariots, and some men will put their faith in horses. But I will put my faith in my Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ." I'm thinking chariots, NASCAR, horses, help.
Driving to the cotton patch.
Driving to the cotton patch. There we go. I'm blessed. 3 great kids. They love the Lord.
You got some
and,
grandkids too.
I've got 4 grandsons, and they're studs. All
Nice.
of them. 8-year-old Brandon the 4th. We call him B4. Right?
Oh my
B4 bomber.
gosh.
B4. We got B4. And then we've got, I said, if you have a daughter, we'll name her Afta.
I was just gonna say B4 can never be running late.
They go, no, exactly. That's great.
Always has to be on
That's
time.
great. That's great.
NAFTA took me a second. I was thinking of NAFTA, and I was like, I guess she's going to be in free trade. But
American Free Trade Agreement.
No, before and after, Jeff?
yes, I
There
got
we
it.
go.
Yeah.
Just in case.
That was Jeff off for a second there.
And then we
Jeff
got
Incarcerated.
And then we got Roman, and we
Okay.
got Weston, and we got Pearson. And they are just great kids. I'm very, very, very blessed to be able. They call us Champ and Honey. Carrie and I are Champ and
Honey.
That is the best grandma name ever.
You know why? Because when they turned 16, all 3 of my kids at different times, I told them, I said, let's have the talk. And we had the talk. And I said, by the way, there's a couple things. I said, I'm not going to ever have a giant will, but I'll have one. So there's only 2 caveats. Number 1, if you get married before you're 30, you're out of the will. No questions asked. Because not too many of us make great decisions before we're 30. And they're like, okay, cool, we can handle that. What's the other one? I said, well, when you do get married, should you have a child, if they ever call me grandpa, you're out of the will. Done. So oldest son gets pregnant, wife, and they call me and they go, we remember many years ago. I said, oh, yeah, it's still true.
Still true.
Well, what are we going to call you? And I said, I don't know. Give me a day. And I hung up the phone. And I thought, oh, boy, that's so cool. And so my best grandfather, who was just loved the Lord, was a great tennis champion in Beaumont, Texas. When I was little bitty and playing tennis at 3, I was in World Tennis Magazine at 3 years old.
Wow.
He called me champ. And I said, you know what? I'm going to be champ.
That's right.
That's
So I
how you
called him and I
brand
go-
your grandfatherly years. That's amazing.
Okay, dude, that's going to lead to a heck of a story because it's called, I've now owned that. It's called brand parenting.
Brand parenting.
And we're about to launch a big brand with the Adventures of Champ and Honey.
Nice.
We'll tie in with you guys. Yeah.
Awesome.
Absolutely. We want to look like
Adventures with
this.
Champ and Honey. We'll just follow you around with this little table interviewing you everywhere you go.
We won't run out of jokes.
Honey's going to say, Champ, why are these guys always right next to you with microphones?
Because they want to follow
part
you.
of the deal.
Because she's
Honey.
amazing. I mean, I'm married to an amazing, amazing woman. One of the few women to ever be named Distinguished Alumni at Texas A&M.
Awesome.
She was the first female chairman of the 12th Man Foundation. She's beautiful. She was a diamond darling, and her heart and her love for the Lord's way bigger than all of that.
Yeah.
And I'm late life love, late life marriage. We've been married 10 years now, and when they said, well, what are we going to call Carrie? I went like, well, hold on, I need another day. And I found out my dad's mother died when she was 31. And her real name was Honey. And she was a beloved school teacher and a beautiful woman. And I called my son back. I said, we got Honey. They said Champ and Honey for real. I said, that's it.
Don't forget that will.
We got the T-shirt. Yeah.
Where there's a will, there is a way.
You guys are awesome. Awesome. So anyway, I'm blessed all the way around. Just absolutely. If I can just stay out of my own way, I'm good.
Champ, you blessed us today.
Yeah, seriously.
For real.
Great.
It's unbelievable. I'm so grateful. I will say that for all the young Catholics listening, you're supposed to be married by 21 and have at least 10 kids by 30.
Or you're out of Jeff's will and it's much bigger than mine.
You know what my will is? I give you some of my kids. You raise them.
Good luck.
What a blessing.
Yeah, what a blessing. No, I love it. I love all of it. I love every form of family. This is awesome.
Yeah.
Well, one of the things that Carrie and I have learned through the years, and while we're building this brand of the Adventures of Champ and Honey, is that grandparenting is a choice.
Oh yeah.
If you look at it on a graph, it's like they run parallel your life with your kids, and then all of a sudden they grow up, they get married, and there's a little bump in the road, no big deal. And then all of a sudden there's pregnancy, and you have a choice. And most people, most adults that are about to be grandparents, they just put it on autopilot. Okay, stuff them with sugar, take them to the zoo, watch a movie. They just put it on autopilot. I'm automatically going to be a great grandparent. Now there are some. This is collectively as a group. There are some that really put forth the effort. Grandparenting needs to be intentional. It needs to be intentional. It needs to be strategic. And it literally starts, I've looked at the whole thing as I would going into brand of business. It starts with that nomenclature. And if you just, I asked a woman the other day, oh, you're going to have a baby, a grandbaby. That's awesome. What do you think your grandparent name's going to be? What are you going to have them call you? Oh, I don't know, just whatever they want. No. You need to be intentional. You may be Mimi or Peta
Or Crappa.
Whatever. Or like my brother, Grandpa. His Fitzo. Hope you're out there, Kevin, baby. This is for you, Grandpa.
I also like the name
Grump.
Fitzo.
Yeah, you got to take control of this because my mom's sister, she goes by Moo Moo because they had cows, and
Moo
the first grandkid was like, oh, are we going to grandma's house or Moo Moo grandma's house? And it just became Moo Moo.
Well, you get all your naturals, and I'm not making fun.
No, yeah, they're all crazy.
Nanas and ninis and mimis and papas, crapas, papas and mamas and mamas and mama, and there are a lot of them, and it's very natural, and that's what most people have.
Sure.
And there's absolutely nothing wrong with it. If you want to create the leverage that a brand will give you of recognition and specialness, then you have to be mindful and intentional about how you create your grandparent brand.
I'm all in on this. I think
like,
this is
like
wonderful.
Lolly and Pop. I got a friend that's Lolly and Pop. I thought, well, that is so creative.
Yeah.
I've met about 1,000 of them now. Lolly and Pop. So a lot of suckers out there.
On my first date with my wife, we talked about having a backyard so full of grandkids that we couldn't name them all. And she was like, I'm in. And I said, then I guess we're going to have to get married soon and start having lots of babies. So this is just a step in the strategic plan.
Don't you have like 7 kids or 8?
Yeah, 7. Yeah.
He had to check for himself.
Think about it.
Yeah.
And my wife is 11 years younger than me, so I still feel good about getting in the low teens.
Yeah. That ain't going to happen. You're going to be like in the 30s.
Yeah.
Of grandkids.
Oh, grandkids for sure.
Yeah, I'll be in my 70s and the 30s.
No.
Yes.
You're going to have 30-something grandkids.
Yeah.
Well, he's already planning his grandchildren's names out on their behalf, so it's called Brandchildren. And,
yeah, that's great. I like the
goes
name.
with it, yeah.
I like the name. Nothing, in a kid's life, the grandparents have such an impact. A lot of people don't realize it's not just about being the nice people with no teeth and no hair and giving them sugar when they come over.
And your legs look like a treasure map.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah. With lots of stops. Lots of stops in big cities.
What?
Varicose veins.
Oh, that's right.
Come on, dude.
Okay. But treasure.
It's early. No wonder you really wanted me on the 3 p.m. show, not the 8:30 a.m.
3 p.m. shift.
But we're blessed. Our grandchildren are very blessed because all of us, and we've got a few divorces in the situation, but all of the grandparents involved in our family are all just great people.
Yeah.
And they're all super. My ex, her dad and mom are divorced, but we all get together, all love, and
good.
and the whole bit. And so it is so important to a kid's life.
Yeah.
But that it's brand on, because when you brand yourself as a grandparent, starting with the name, but then more intentionally, how do you work? How do you work together? How do you work with that adult child? Because if you talk to any grandparent, you're going to get a list of complaints about their children.
Yeah.
And if you talk to any adult children with kids, you're going to get a list of complaints about the grandparents. We're putting Champ and Honey out there to bring them both together.
You know, when I hear this, I feel like as a grandparent, you're giving a promise that shows up in the delivery. Mic drop.
My
Just because
got
there's
a block in it. Hold on.
dead air and mic drop are not the same
Dead
thing.
air and mic drop. That's exactly. No, he dropped the mic, but I got dead air response on it.
Way to rebrand that moment, Jeff.
Your grandchild will be wrapped in a delivery.
Spin it.
You loved it.
Yeah, it was good. It was good.
It is so.
It is done.
Well, it is finished, so we're going to wrap it up right now. This has been incredible. Brandon Coleman Jr., check out the book, Brand On. You can get it all over the place, but especially on Amazon, where he's a #1 bestseller. And, you know, here in the tiny table at the BeatiDudes studio, you're #1 in my heart.
Thank you guys.
Yeah.
You guys have achieved that in
awesome.
my ranking system too. Y'all are fun.
This is
Smart,
the body of
quick.
Christ. Thumbs up.
Amen. Thumbs up to all. Here we have
Yeah,
a full
Aggie
gig'em,
Network.
all 4 gig'ems.
Dig 'em. And you know what? That's our teaser. You come back on Friday. We're going to talk some good bull. If you don't know what that means, get ready for Friday. So we're going to see you standing with the 12th man on Friday. And for the rest of you, we will.
See you in the Eucharist.
God bless you.
Thanks for tuning in. If you'd like to join us at our undersized table, subscribe to the video version of the show on YouTube by typing @ that's the symbol @ so shift and 2 on your keyboard, @ the _ Beatitudes on YouTube. We'll see you there.